Welcome back, Joyful Journeyer. I'm Anita Adams, your host, and today we're going to get personal. Have you ever felt a heaviness in your heart, a sadness that seems to tighten in your chest and make you want to hide from the world? If you've ever struggled with emotions like this, you are not alone. Today, I want to explore how even our most painful emotions can become powerful gifts, offering us opportunities for growth and transformation. And I'm going to share a personal story of three challenging experiences I recently faced, moments that left me feeling sad, hurt, and confused. At first, I didn't understand the emotions stirring inside me, but as I leaned into those feelings and peeled back the layers, I uncovered something unexpected, a sense of shame rooted in the belief that I wasn't enough. I call these feelings the worthlessness gremlin. And I thought I had vanquished that gremlin years ago. Much to my dismay, suddenly and unexpectedly, that gremlin was back, and I realized there was still more work to do, and that it was time to take another deep dive into this dark corner of my being. Through this journey, I was reminded of a profound truth. The emotions we resist often hold the keys to our growth and our connection to something greater. So let's unpack this together, and I'll share how these difficult moments became blessings and helped me move closer to the best version of myself, and how they might inspire you to do the same. First, I want to share a prayer I often recite when I go for my nature walks and I talk to God. It goes like this: Help me to see what is mine to see, understand what is mine to do, and have the courage to do it. I believe now that the three challenges I recently faced were God's way of answering that prayer. They were showing me there is still inner work to be done, to stand in my power and fully claim my self-worth. The first time in this series of events where the old worthlessness gremlin showed up was during a trip to the East Coast where I went to help a friend recovering from surgery. Unfortunately, my help and my way of being weren't what my friend needed at that time, and things were said that hurt deeply. And I was asked to leave. I felt angry, hurt, confused. Although I believe my friend could have handled the situation differently, her actions triggered something deeper in me. My emotions swirled. Hurt turned to anger, which became shame, which became sadness, and then it looped back to anger. The story I told myself was that she didn't value my time, my efforts, or my sacrifices. And maybe she didn't, but that's her business, not mine. Unfortunately, I allowed her behavior to serve as proof that I wasn't enough. Now that's my business. That's what God was showing me I needed to work on. The second time the worthlessness gremlin appeared was the night I returned home from that trip. This time, my husband stirred up those negative emotions. Before leaving for the East Coast, I asked him explicitly for the third time to read my book and explained how important it was to me that he do so. 3 weeks later, on the drive home from the airport, I asked if he had read it. You can guess where this is going. His sheepish no felt like a kick in the gut, and the gremlin was back spinning stories. He doesn't value my work. He doesn't think I'm a good enough writer. He's not proud of me and what I do. None of that is true, of course, but I let those thoughts spiral, turning his choices into evidence that I wasn't enough. The reality is my husband values me deeply and demonstrates it daily, but I was looking for proof of the opposite, and I found it because that's what I was focused on. The third time the gremlin showed up was during the Christmas holidays when my kids came home with their partners. Both of them have wonderful relationships filled with love, joy, and mutual respect. While I'm deeply happy for them, I also felt sadness. For the first time, I fully realized they no longer need me in the same way, and a wave of grief washed over me. And again, I was questioning my value. What do I bring to the world now that I'm no longer needed by my children? The day my children left to return to their homes with their partners, I could barely make eye contact. I didn't want them to see the emotion in my face. I said a hasty goodbye, retreated to the bathroom where I locked the door and silently cried. It was this third incident that finally made me pause and ask, what is going on here? And that's when I recognized that old gremlin for what it was, a deep-seated sense of worthlessness. Interestingly, and perhaps not coincidentally, not long after this realization, I picked up a book that felt perfectly timed for what I was going through. The Divine Matrix by Greg Braden. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend that you do. In his book, Braden explains something that really resonated with me. When we take the time to examine those moments in life that trigger us, such as the three I experienced with my friend, my husband, and my children, we often find that our fears, no matter how different they seem, usually boil down to one of three patterns or a combination of them. These patterns are the fear of separation or abandonment, the fear of low self-worth, or the fear of surrender and trust. And here's the part that really struck me. Braden says that the relationships in our lives act as mirrors, showing us exactly which fears are asking to be healed. They reflect back to us what we need to examine within ourselves. And if we don't do the inner work to address those fears, the patterns will keep repeating. Looking back, I don't think I would have seen the pattern so clearly if those three emotional experiences hadn't happened so close together. It felt like God was answering my prayers. Help me to see what is mine to see by making it undeniably obvious this was my work to do. As these three relationship events unfolded over just a few weeks, my emotions were raw and overwhelming. I realized that the only way to move through these feelings was to summon the courage I'd been praying for and take a deep dive into understanding their root cause. And here's the beautiful part. The moment I named the core fear, the fear of low self-worth, or what I've come to call my worthlessness gremlin, I felt a shift. It was subtle at first, but I could sense those feelings of worthlessness beginning to slide away. In the weeks since this awakening, I felt a growing sense of love and inner peace. It's reminded me once again that our emotions are not obstacles. They're guides. They lead us through the pain and toward healing if we're willing to listen and learn. So, joyful journeyer, I invite you to get curious about your emotions. The next time something triggers you or those emotions get stirred up, pause and ask yourself, why does this bother me? And why is that? And why is that? Peel back the layers. You might uncover truths that will set you free. And if you're looking for extra guidance on this journey, reach out. Whether through group or one-on-one coaching, I'd love to help you uncover the gifts hidden within your emotions. As always, thanks for walking this path with me, and we'll catch you next time. Bye for now.